Chapter 1. The Office, the Fire, the Fall. And then a new world. Alexander had always been the quiet one in the office. The type of man who did his work, avoided unnecessary drama, and kept his head down in a place filled with sharks wearing cheap cologne and knockoff suits. He had no family, no friends, no life outside of work. His apartment was as empty as his existence. His phone only rang for reminders and bank notifications. On weekends, his only comfort was sinking into BL dog blood novels, especially those with obsessive, broken yet secretly soft male leads. He didn't complain. He didn't expect kindness. But today, something snapped. It started with his boss, the ever-smiling devil in a tie, calling Alexander into the office. A team project had failed because of the accountant's mistake, but somehow, miraculously, Alexander was the one being blamed. Alexander, the boss said with faux sympathy dripping from his voice, since you're the most dispensable one here, it's better if you take responsibility. The board wants a scapegoat. Be grateful we're letting you resign instead of firing you. Alexander stood still, staring. I wasn't even part of this project, he said calmly. Yes, the boss replied, but they're all valuable to the company. You're not. And the coworkers? All those people who laughed with him at lunch, who asked for favors, who begged him for help during deadlines? They looked away. Every single one. One of them whispered, just take it, Alex. Better you than us. Another said, if he argues too much, tell HR he threatened you. They'll fire him faster. The betrayal came not as a stab, but as a quiet, cold knife slowly dragged across his heart. But Alexander didn't cry. He didn't scream. He smiled. A small, empty, almost polite smile. If that's what you want, he said simply. His boss nodded, relieved. The coworkers relaxed. They thought it was over. They really didn't know Alexander at all. The decision. During lunch break, Alexander sat alone in the company cafeteria, stirring his untouched coffee as their voices echoed from nearby tables. Can't believe he didn't fight back. He's such a pushover. Good thing he's the one getting thrown out. People like him don't deserve better anyway. He listened. Every word carved itself deeper into him. He stood, walked to the pantry, opened the drawer where the first aid kit was stored, and quietly took out a bottle of sleeping pills, ones the receptionist usually kept for her chronic insomnia. Nobody noticed. Of course they didn't. Alexander mixed the crushed pills into the office coffee machine. 1, 2, 3 spoonfuls, stirred until the water turned clear again and turned the machine back on. They drank. They laughed. They insulted him. And then they dropped, one by one, like broken marionettes. Even the boss fell like a sack of potatoes. Alexander stood over their unconscious bodies, expression blank. Then, slowly, he smiled, locking the doors. Instead of walking away, he calmly approached the exit. Click. He locked the main office door, locked the emergency door, locked the fire escape. Then he walked to the security panel and typed in the override code, the one the IT guy had once bragged about in front of him. All exits sealed. Only then did he pick up a pair of scissors and cut the landline wires. He smashed the emergency phone, unplugged the router, shut down the building's internal alert system. If a fire started here, no one outside would know. He waited. And eventually, they began to wake up, groggy, confused, but trapped. What's happening? Why are the doors locked? Alex, unlock it. Alexander opened the glass divider and stepped inside. Their faces went pale. Alexander, we were joking earlier, right? You know that, right? We're friends? Yeah, man, come on. Unlock it, please. We're sorry. Just let us out. Alexander stared at them, at their suddenly desperate, pleading faces, and tilted his head with the softest, sweetest smile. You're sorry? He asked gently. They nodded frantically. He smiled wider, eyes warm, almost glowing. That's nice, he said, but I don't care. He walked to the trash bin, poured in cleaning alcohol, lit a match, and dropped it. The flames rose instantly. "No, Alexander, open the door, please. Don't do this. You're crazy. Help! Someone help!" But the phones were dead. The internet was down. The alarms were cut. No one outside could hear them. And Alexander simply leaned against the glass wall, arms crossed, smiling as he watched the flames grow. He watched them bang on the glass, watched them scream, beg, cry, promise anything, everything. It meant nothing. "You all wanted me gone," he whispered softly, "so I'll go first." He stepped back, turned around, and walked out of the office floor, leaving the chaos behind him with a serene, peaceful expression. The fall. He climbed to the rooftop, the smoke rising behind him in thick waves. The city lights glittered like mocking stars. He walked to the edge, breathing in the cold night air. For the first time in years, he felt light. He didn't plan to die. He planned to escape. But the universe had other ideas. His foot slipped on a patch of wet moss. Ah, he fell. He didn't scream. He didn't beg. He only had one last absurd thought. What a stupid way to die. Darkness swallowed him whole. The awakening. Alexander opened his eyes to warmth. Gentle sunlight filtered through translucent curtains, brushing over him like silk fingers. He blinked slowly, confused. He was lying on a massive, luxurious bed covered in satin sheets, in a room that looked nothing like the cramped apartment he lived in. White marble floors, gold-edged furniture, a chandelier that probably cost more than his entire existence. And his hands, slender, beautiful, delicate. He shot up, tripping over the sheet and stumbled in front of a mirror. His reflection stared back. Flawless porcelain skin, soft, naturally pink lips, luminous golden brown eyes, long lashes, a body that looked fragile but radiated pheromone-rich dominance, the unmistakable scent of a dominant Omega. His jaw dropped. This is not me. He looked around, slowly connecting the clues. The room, the body, the scent, the air, the faint floral fragrance typical of Omega nests. And then it clicked so hard his heart nearly exploded. The room, the setting, the scent, the world. It all belonged to one place. Blood-soaked love, the Alpha's chains. The novel he loved like heaven. The novel he reread 100 times. The novel with the male lead he was obsessed with, Lucifer Moriti. Dominant Alpha. Billionaire. Vigilante psycho by night. The walking red flag Alexander worshipped. Alexander grabbed the sides of the mirror, his eyes wide and shining like a man who just won the lottery. "I transmigrated," he whispered. A grin stretched across his lips. "Holy shit, I transmigrated into my favorite novel." He touched his own face again, soft, silky, unreal. A thrill shot through him. Now he remembered everything. The plot, the characters, the scenes, and especially Lucifer Moriti, cold-faced, mentally broken, obsessive, possessive, but a golden retriever for the one he loved. Alexander's heart fluttered and twisted at the same time. In the original story, this body belonged to a minor character destined to disappear early. But now? "Oh, Lucifer," he murmured, touching his lips. "My lovely Psycho Alpha." A smirk curved upwards, sharper than a knife. "This time, you're mine." And so began the twisted, chaotic journey of a man who died a monster and woke up as a beautiful Omega ready to catch a far more dangerous one. Chapter 2. The weak little Omega act that no one asked for. Alexander stepped out of the mansion with a single goal in mind. Seduce the craziest man in this world by acting like a trembling rabbit. He adjusted his soft, fluffy white sweater, chosen specifically because it made him look like a fragile marshmallow, and practiced his expression. Lowered eyes. Tiny frown. Subtle pout of helplessness. Perfect. He looked pathetically adorable. And if anyone asked why, he'd simply say, "It's for research." But really, it was because Lucifer Moriti, the dominant alpha who ruled this novel, had a known soft spot weak. Bullied Omegas triggered his instinct to protect and possess. So Alexander, a dominant Omega who could bite through steel if he wanted. Yes, he was going to pretend to be a trembling lil baby. He stepped onto the busy street, scanned for potential witnesses and actors. Because for Alexander's grand performance, he needed the perfect audience. Scumbag alphas. And as if the world loved him, 3 appeared right on schedule. They were leaning against a storefront, smoking, laughing too loudly, clearly thinking they were hot stuff while looking like failed background characters. Alexander thought, perfect, future dead meat. He tightened his grip on his grocery bag, took a deep breath, and walked straight into their line of sight. One whistled, another smirked. The third stepped forward with a sleazy grin. "Hey, sweetheart, need help carrying those?" His tone was dripping with arrogant confidence. Alexander, internally. "I need help carrying your corpse, maybe." Alexander, externally. He flinched dramatically, hugged the grocery bag closer, kept his voice soft and shaky. "No, I'm fine, please don't come closer." Not too timid, just enough, a perfect balance of delicate and dignified. And that was exactly what Lucifer noticed. Lucifer's first glimpse. Across the street, hidden behind the tinted window of his luxury car, Lucifer Moriti froze mid-sentence as his eyes landed on the tiny trembling Omega. His pupils dilated instantly. The scent hit him first sweet. Warm, soft dominance subtly buried underneath submissive sweetness. A paradoxical scent that stabbed straight into his instincts. Addictive, rare, dangerously enticing. His heart thudded once, violently. Then he stepped out of the car without a word. His assistant sputtered, "Sir, where are you going?" Lucifer didn't answer. His gaze was locked on Alexander, like a predator that finally spotted prey shaped exactly like its soulmate. The alpha was tall, dressed in a sleek black suit, hair slightly messy from work, eyes cold sharp. But right now, those eyes softened. No, melted. Lucifer walked toward Alexander silently, his footsteps soundless, expression unreadable. From afar, one wouldn't even notice him. But Alexander noticed. Oh, he noticed. He sensed the shift in the air, the sharp, dangerous dominance approaching like a hurricane. He's coming. He's actually coming. Alexander's heart fluttered with pure excitement. But his face? Still trembling Omega mode. Perfect. The encounter? One of the scumbag alphas reached out, trying to grab Alexander's wrist. And before Alexander had to break the man's fingers, while pretending it was an accident, a shadow fell over them. A cold, unamused voice sliced through the street. "Touch him," Lucifer said calmly, "and I'll remove your hand. Not threaten, not shout. Just a simple promise." The 3 alphas turned, ready to curse, then froze when they recognized the face of the man glaring at them. Lucifer Moriti, the billionaire, the monster, the man rumor said skinned people alive. The scumbags scrambled away instantly, tripping over each other. Lucifer didn't spare them a second glance. His attention was entirely on the small Omega clutching groceries like a frightened kitten. "You," Lucifer said, voice dropping lower than usual. "Are you hurt?" He stepped closer. Alexander stepped back, not too much, just enough to seem overwhelmed. I'm fine. I can handle myself." Lucifer's jaw tightened. "You shouldn't have to." Alexander blinked innocently. "Oh, really?" Then he smiled, just a hint. A sarcastic, tiny, knowing smile quickly hidden by lowered lashes. Lucifer caught it, and his breath hitched. This Omega was timid, yes, but not weak. He had spine, fire, and a scent that called to every feral part of Lucifer's being. Lucifer wanted to cage him instantly. He didn't, but he wanted to. The obsession starts. After escorting Alexander home, Alexander pretended to protest weakly. Lucifer did something he never did for anyone. He followed him quietly from the shadows. Every night, Lucifer moved like a phantom through alleyways, across rooftops, down silent streets. He learned Alexander's routine. Where he shopped, how he walked, how he looked around nervously, how he held his heart when startled, how he bit his lip when anxious, how he smelled. God's that intoxicating scent, dominant Omega but sweet, timid, fragile on the surface. Lucifer's instincts whispered, "Mine." He watched Alexander eat dinner, watched him fold clothes, watched him sleep, curled up like a gentle creature needing protection. And Alexander knew. Oh, he absolutely knew. He felt Lucifer's presence like warm breath against the back of his neck. He heard footsteps that didn't exist. He sensed unblinking eyes from the shadows. But he pretended innocence. He'd glance over his shoulder sometimes, lips curling into the faintest smirk, then instantly wipe it and act scared again. It thrilled Lucifer. It thrilled Alexander even more, or the sarcastic Omega. The next time they met accidentally, Alexander tripped over air. He did it very gracefully, and fell into Lucifer's arms. Lucifer caught him instantly, eyes burning with something dark and hungry. "Careful," he murmured. Alexander gave him a shy, innocent look, but then whispered so quietly only Lucifer could hear. "You should have caught me faster." Lucifer stiffened. His pupils dilated. His grip tightened. And for the first time in his life, Lucifer Moriti felt lost. This Omega looked timid, acted scared, but his words, sharp, sarcastic, playful, dangerous. Lucifer's heart pounded. He was hooked, completely, utterly doomed. And Alexander? He walked away with a smirk, hid his grocery bag. Chapter 3. Kidnap me, Daddy. 3 months. For 3 entire months, Lucifer had walking, observing, his little enigma of an Omega. His entertainment, his obsession, his purpose. He didn't even pretend otherwise anymore. Every night, Lucifer followed him silently across rooftops, through alleyways, past the busy night markets of the city. He memorized Alexander's steps, expressions, habits, even his heartbeat rhythm. And every night, Alexander walked with an annoyingly perfect sway, pretending he didn't feel the alpha's shadow stretching over him like a predator. Oh, he knew. He knew too well. And he reveled in it. Tonight, finally, Alexander decided to turn his private stalker into something more useful. The alleyway of poor decisions. Alexander approved. Alexander deliberately took a left turn instead of right, stepping into the most notorious alley in the city. A place known for its muggers, illegal dealers, and idiots with nothing to lose. Lucifer, perched on the roof like a gargoyle, hissed under his breath. Why here? Why alone? Why at night? Why? He was 2 seconds from jumping down and wrapping up when 3 thugs cornered Alexander. Pretty little Omega, one sneered. Another reached for him. Before they could blink, Alexander's lashes fluttered just loud enough for Lucifer, and only Lucifer to hear. Help me, Alpha. The tone, the posture, the smirk he hid by lowering his head. Lucifer didn't stand a chance. His vision threw top like a monster released. 2 punches, 1 kick, a cracked, a broken rib cage, 3 unconscious bodies. He didn't kill them, only because he wanted Alexander to see he could kill for him, not that he had to. Before Alexander could blink, Lucifer scooped him into his arms, bridal style, like he weighed nothing. Alexander raised an eyebrow. Wow, straight to kidnapping? Not even a drink first? Lucifer growled, nuzzling into the Omega's neck like a smothering golden retriever with murder issues. You called for me, he murmured. So you're mine now, Alexander snorted. That's not how consent works, sweetheart. It does now. Psycho. Pretty. Alexander clicked his tongue. Lucifer tightened his hold. They walked off like a psychotic Disney couple. Ping level, Lucifer Moriti. Lucifer didn't take him to some shady warehouse. No, he took him to his penthouse, the one with biometric locks, soundproof walls, bulletproof windows, and enough luxury to make a royal cry. The moment they entered, Lucifer placed him gently on a velvet bed. Alexander immediately tried to stand. The doors automatically locked. He froze. Lucifer smirked. Alexander crossed his arms. Did you just lock me in like I'm a Sims character? You tried to walk away from me. Lucifer stepped closer, eyes burning. No one walks away from me. Oh no, scary, Alexander deadpanned. What next? You gonna take away my toilet? Lucifer stiffened. Are you thirsty? Hungry? Do you need anything? I can bring you water, snacks, ice cream, or the head of the thug who touched you. Lucifer. Alexander sighed dramatically, dropping onto the bed like a fallen angel. You kidnapped me. Lucifer relaxed. Yes. You locked me in. Yes. And you're not even sorry. Lucifer stepped between his knees, caging him gently. Why would I be sorry, he whispered, when you walked into danger begging for me? Alexander's cheeks betrayed him. Pink. He slapped them. No, bad hormones, don't fall for the enemy. Lucifer's grin widened at the visible blush. Chaotic couple, day 1. Lucifer hovered around Alexander like an overgrown dangerous puppy. Alexander, go sit somewhere else. Lucifer sits even closer. Alexander, stop looking at me. Lucifer looks harder. Alexander, if you cling any tighter, you'll fuse to me. Lucifer, already hugging him. Okay. At one point, Alexander tried escaping by climbing out the window. Lucifer grabbed his waist. Absolutely not. You're suffocating me. I'll suffocate you more. Stop saying that like it's romantic. Lucifer kissed his cheek. Alexander malfunctioned for 5 seconds before kicking him in the shin. Lucifer melted. You're adorable. I hope your kneecap dissolves. Court me. Alexander blinked. What? Lucifer cupped his face, forehead touching his. I want to court you properly, the alpha murmured. Make you my mate, have a home, a family, everything. Alexander swallowed. Hard. Then smirked. Oh? Suddenly the kidnapper wants a white picket fence? Yes. And you expect me to swoon? Obviously. Alexander pushed him away lightly. Oh, darling, you'll have to work for it. Lucifer's pupils dilated. Then I'll work, every second, until you're mine. Alexander hummed. Good. Let's see how long till you break. Lucifer smiled like someone who enjoys being broken. Alexander smiled back like someone who enjoys doing the breaking. And so it began. A manipulative Omega playing hard to get. A dangerously devoted alpha ready to burn the world. A luxury penthouse turned romantic prison. Banter sharp enough to stab. Chemistry hot enough to explode. Obsession strong enough to kill. And both of them loving every second of it. Chapter 4. Courtship, Chaos Punches of Love. Lucifer. Moriti was a man of 2 identities. By day, the world's youngest, richest, most feared CEO. Cold, elegant, untouchable. By night, Alexander's personal, oversized, ridiculously clingy emotional support alpha who smelled like blood but acted like a golden retriever with separation anxiety. Life was absurdly perfect. For one of them. For the other, secretly perfect but loudly complaining. Lucifer's courtship. Method, insanity. Lucifer didn't believe in subtlety. He believed in acts of devotion, irrational spending, unnecessary violence. And, if my Omega looks at it, I buy it. Alexander learned quickly that saying I like that building jokingly resulted in Lucifer purchasing the entire block. One morning, a set of keys appeared in Alexander's lap. Alexander stared. What's this? Your building, Lucifer said casually while adjusting his tie. My what? I bought it for you. Lucy, what am I supposed to do with an entire building? Live in it or throw it away. I'll buy you 10 more. Alexander threw a shoe at him. Lucifer caught it and kissed it. Alexander went silent for 5 seconds before whispering, I hate you. I love you too, Lucifer replied warmly, leaving for work like this was normal human behavior. Night routine. Blood cuddles. Lucifer returned every night smelling faintly of blood and expensive cologne. Alexander would look up from the couch, narrow his eyes, and ask, Who did you beat up today? Lucifer shrugged. A man stared at you. I wasn't even with you? He stared at your picture. Where did he see on my phone? Wallpaper. Alexander threw a pillow at him. Lucifer tackled him into the cushions and nuzzled his neck with a low, possessive growl. My Omega. Get off. Ugh, your hair is tickling my face. Lucifer tightened his arms. No. Why are you like this? Love. Alexander kicked him. Lucifer adored it. Legendary banter of the psycho couple. Every day ended in arguments that sounded like threats but felt like flirting. Stop stalking me, Alexander snapped. I'm protecting you, Lucifer replied calmly while holding him hostage on the sofa. From what? The world. And your bad decision-making. Alexander paused. Okay, fair. Lucifer smirked. Alexander hit him with a cushion again. Balance restored. Alexander's secret softness, that he'll deny until death. Internally, Alexander was melting like ice cream in the desert. He loved everything. The stalking, the gifts, the possessiveness, the chaos, the nightly cuddles, the dangerous devotion, the way Lucifer kissed his wrists before sleeping, the way Lucifer whispered mine against his throat when he thought Alexander was asleep. He loved all of it. He just refused to admit it. So he expressed affection by bullying Lucifer. Lucifer accepted it like oxygen. Why are you smiling like a serial killer? Alexander asked one evening as Lucifer leaned on him during movie night. Because I love you. Stop saying things like that randomly. Lucifer kissed his jaw. No. Alexander blushed so hard he threw popcorn at him. Possessiveness level. Extreme, illegal, adorable. The first time another alpha tried flirting with Alexander at a grocery store, Lucifer arrived within 2 minutes, despite being across the city. The flirting alpha disappeared from society the next day. Alexander raised an eyebrow over dinner. You didn't kill him, right? Lucifer sipped his wine. Define kill. Lucy, I disposed of the problem. You can't. He winked at you. Alexander's heart fluttered. He pretended it didn't. You're insane, he muttered. Lucifer leaned over and kissed him slow, deep, warm. For you, always. Alexander nearly melted into the floor. He threw a spoon at Lucifer's chest to cope. 1 month later, the proposal. Lucifer didn't kneel. He simply cornered Alexander in the kitchen, trapped him between the fridge and his arms, and said with absolute seriousness, Marry me. Alexander froze mid-bite of his strawberry, then slowly raised an eyebrow. After 1 month, you want marriage? Lucifer's voice dropped. I wanted it the moment I saw you. Alexander's heart flipped so aggressively he almost fainted. He cleared his throat. No. Lucifer blinked. No? Nope. Alexander smirked. I'm not ready yet. He was absolutely ready. He just wanted to see how far Lucifer would go. Lucifer inhaled sharply, eyes darkening. Alexander. Yes, dear husband applicant. I will court you until your no becomes mean. Alexander smirked wider. We'll see. Lucifer pulled him into a kiss that nearly broke Alexander's spine. Alexander pretended to shove him away. Inside, he was screaming. This was courtship. This was chaos. This was love. This was obsession. This was their perfect deranged romance. Chapter 5. Yes, Psycho, I'm yours. Lucifer had been patient. Too patient. 1 month of courtship from a man who normally solved problems by breaking bones and burying them in the forest was already a miracle. But waiting for Alexander's yes was slowly killing him. Every day, he looked at Alexander like a starving wolf, forced to sit in front of a feast without touching it. Every night, he fought the urge to bite, bond, mate Mark, until the day Alexander finally leaned in, breath brushing Lucifer's lips, voice soft like a sin. All right, yes, marry me. Time stopped. Lucifer froze. Then he laughed. He cried. He spun Alexander around like a madman, lifted him, held him, kissed him breathless. You're mine, he whispered, voice trembling. You're finally mine. Alexander rolled his eyes, cheeks red. I was always yours, psycho. Lucifer nearly passed out. The wedding. Expensive, chaotic, and absolutely unhinged. Lucifer did not do small. He booked the entire royal cathedral, imported black roses from 6 countries, forced every threatening alpha who once sneezed near Alexander to stand outside and watch the ceremony to understand his place. Alexander walked in wearing silk white with black embroidery, smelling like warm honey and danger. Lucifer almost fell to his knees. During the vows, Lucifer looked at him like he was the last star in existence. Alexander smirked like the little menace he was. When the ceremony ended, Lucifer didn't even wait for the guests to cheer. He grabbed Alexander, carried him away in front of everyone, and locked them in the private suite. The consummation, bonding. Beautiful, wild, inevitable. Lucifer's hands shook as he touched Alexander's cheek. Are you sure? His voice, usually a blade, softened into silk. Alexander cupped his jaw, pulling him closer. Lucifer, I said marry me. Obviously, I want everything that comes after. Lucifer kissed him so deeply that the world shattered around them. Their bodies fit together like a promise, like destiny, like 2 lunatics finally completing each other. Lucifer held him reverently, desperately, devoted to every breath Alexander exhaled. And when Alexander opened his neck, when he bared the most vulnerable part of a dominant Omega, Lucifer broke. He bit, Alexander cried out, holding Lucifer's hair, pulling him closer with a wild mixture of pleasure and surrender. Bonding heat roared through both of them. Their scents tangled like fire and honey. Their marks glowed faintly, pulsing in sync. Lucifer kissed the fresh mark and whispered, Mine. Alexander whispered back, Yours. And for once, he wasn't pretending. Married life with 2 psychos. Lucifer clung onto Alexander like a massive, possessive golden retriever. Alexander would wake up every morning crushed under Lucifer's arms like a hostage in a cuddle prison. Get off me, Alexander grumbled. Lucifer tightened his grip. Never. You're heavy. I'm your husband. That's not an excuse. Lucifer buried his face into Alexander's neck. It is now. Alexander smacked him with a pillow. Lucifer kissed his forehead in response. Their days were filled with Lucifer refusing to let Alexander open doors, Alexander kicking Lucifer when he acted too clingy, Lucifer tracking every person who even glanced at Alexander, Alexander secretly loving every second of it, chaotic arguments turning into kissing, and Lucifer spoiling him like a newly crowned king. It was domestic madness. And for Alexander, a dream he never knew he could have. He loved Lucifer deeply, madly. He just refused to say it out loud. Pregnancy chaos. Level legendary. When Alexander suddenly couldn't stand certain smells, Lucifer panicked. When Alexander threw up once, Lucifer almost called an ambulance. When Alexander dozed off on the sofa, Lucifer covered him with 3 blankets and glared at anyone who dared breathe within 10 meters. But the day the doctor confirmed it, Mr. Moriti, congratulations, he's pregnant. Lucifer fainted. Actually fainted. Alexander rolled his eyes and fanned him. You dramatic alpha. When Lucifer woke up, he burst into tears while hugging Alexander's stomach. My babies, he whispered. My tiny omegas or alphas or enigmas, I don't care. Babies. Alexander blushed so hard he had to throw a cushion at Lucifer's face to hide it. Lucifer spent the next months cooking for Alexander, badly but lovingly, buying every baby item on the planet, talking to the belly every night, sleeping with his head on Alexander's stomach, threatening the world to stay away from his pregnant Omega, crying whenever the baby kicked, kissing Alexander every 5 minutes. Alexander pretended to be annoyed. He wasn't. He was blissfully, stupidly, secretly happy. At 8 months, his belly had grown beautifully, round, soft, warm, and Lucifer spent most nights hugging it like a lifeline. One night, Alexander sat on the bed, back supported by pillows, hands gently stroking his full belly. Lucifer slept beside him, head resting on Alexander's thighs, looking peaceful and heartbreakingly beautiful. Alexander smirked to himself. "Hey, you'll never know, Lucifer," he murmured softly, "that I manipulated the entire plot just to catch you. You really walked into my trap." He rubbed his belly and whispered lovingly, "I got the psycho I love the most. I win." Feeling victorious and smug, Alexander drifted into sleep with a soft smile. Silence. Then Lucifer's eyes slowly opened, golden, clear, awake. He stared at Alexander's sleeping face lovingly, then leaned down and kissed Alexander's swollen belly tenderly. "You really thought I didn't know?" he whispered. He sat up, brushing Alexander's hair gently. "From the first day, you lured yourself into my hunting grounds on purpose." He smirked. "You stared at my picture with such love. I almost kidnapped you on the spot." Lucifer leaned close to Alexander's sleeping ear, voice soft and deadly fond. "My little Omega, did you really think you could outplay me?" He kissed Alexander's shoulder. "I let you play," he whispered, "because I love every crazy part of you." Lucifer pulled Alexander into his arms, cradling both him and the unborn baby. "Let him think he won," Lucifer murmured, smiling darkly. "He'll never know." He kissed Alexander's forehead. "Psycho meets psycho. Game over." Lucifer closed his eyes and held his family close. He had always known. He had always been in control. He had always loved him first. And Alexander would never, ever find out.